Rain lashed down.
Rakesh pulled his collar tight. He huddled deeper into the bus shelter.
The wind howled around me. Where was the bus? It was already late.
He checked his watch again. Almost midnight. A low rumble echoed in the distance. 2 headlights cut through the darkness.
The bus, finally!
It screeched to a halt. Rakesh climbed aboard, shivering, glad to be out of the storm. The bus was nearly empty, only a handful of passengers huddled in the dim light. An old woman with a basket clutched in her lap, a man with a face hidden by a wide-brimmed hat, and a young woman cradling a baby in her arms.
I paid my fare and found a seat near the back.
He glanced at the other passengers. Nobody met his gaze. The bus lurched forward. It began its journey into the night. The engine hummed. The rain beat against the windows.
I tried to ignore the chill that had settled deep in my bones. I wished I had stayed in the city, but I had no choice. I had to reach Devgarh.
He stole another look at the other passengers. The old woman hadn't moved. Her eyes were fixed on the basket in her lap. The man in the hat stared straight ahead. His face remained hidden in the shadows.
Softly, she glanced at him briefly, her eyes dark and filled with a strange sadness.
Rakesh quickly looked away. He felt uneasy. There was something strange about his fellow passengers, something that sent shivers down his spine.
I tried to focus on the rhythmic sway of the bus, tried to ignore the oppressive silence that hung in the air.
The bus rumbled on. The city lights faded behind them. They were surrounded by darkness now. The only sounds were the wind and the rain, and the occasional creak of the old bus.
I dozed off.
He was jolted awake by a sudden movement. He looked around. The old woman was gone. Her basket was gone too. He glanced at the other passengers. The man in the hat still stared straight ahead.
Softly, but the young woman was watching him again. Her eyes seemed to burn into him.
Rakesh felt a knot of fear in his stomach. Where had the old woman gone?
I considered asking the young woman, but something in her gaze stopped me.
He turned away, his heart pounding in his chest. The bus lurched around a bend. Rakesh gripped the seat in front of him, feeling dizzy and disoriented. He glanced at the other passengers again. Only the man in the hat remained. The young woman and her baby were gone. He was alone now, completely alone.
I wanted to call out to ask the driver to stop, but my voice caught in my throat. Fear had me in its grip.
He noticed something strange. Throughout the entire journey, the baby had not made a sound. Not a whimper, not a cry. It lay still in the young woman's arms like a doll. A chill ran down his spine. The bus screeched to a halt. Rakesh looked out the window. He was surrounded by dense forest. The air was thick with mist. He had never seen this place before. Where were they? He turned to ask the driver, but the driver's seat was empty. The bus was empty, except for Rakesh. He was utterly alone.
Panic welled up inside me. I stumbled off the bus and called out. My voice echoed in the silence. There was no answer, only the sound of my own breathing and the relentless drumming of the rain.
He started walking. He didn't know where he was going, but he had to get away from that bus, from that place. The forest was dark and silent. The air was heavy with the smell of damp earth and something else, something sweet and sickly. It made his stomach churn. He walked for what felt like hours. Then he saw them.
The other passengers, standing in a circle in the middle of a clearing. Their faces were pale and lifeless. Their eyes were empty sockets. The old woman, the man in the hat, the young woman and her baby. They were all there staring at me.
Rakesh sat up with a gasp. His heart pounded in his chest. He was drenched in sweat. He looked around. He was in his own bed, in his own apartment. It was still raining. He could hear the traffic outside, the familiar sounds of the city. He took a deep breath. It had been a nightmare, just a bad dream.
I got out of bed and went to the window. I looked out at the street below. The rain had stopped. The sun was breaking through the clouds. I saw a bus stop across the street. People were huddled together, waiting for the bus. I watched as a young man ran out of a building and joined the queue.
Rakesh stared at the young man. His heart skipped a beat. The young man was him, or at least, he looked exactly like him. He watched as the bus pulled up, the young man got on, and the bus pulled away. Rakesh stood there for a long time staring at the spot where the bus had been. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had seen that bus before, and those passengers.
I closed my eyes. I could almost hear the rumble of the engine and the soft whisper of the wind. "Don't take the last bus to Devgarh," it seemed to say.